Hello everyone, my name is Afans Val. Today we'll be looking at what is HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. When we say markup language, you find that it's a kind of computer language or browser language that uses tag to define elements within a document. So looking at tag, trying to understand what is a tag. Tag is simply a less than greater than. Whenever we are using anything less than and greater than, we are talking of a tag. Like we can see in this place, we have the less than and greater than. Then whenever you use a forward slash, that means you want to close the tag. That's another thing you have to understand. Now, what is HTML? HTML is a hypertext markup language which is used to create a web page. So one thing you should understand is that HTML is not a programming language that can run some operations. No. So it's a simple hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language means the content will display on the browser. So we expect it to run on our browser. Browser have their own mechanism for recognizing web languages, and HTML is the backbone. All other web programming language are embedded into HTML. So when we are talking about being embedded into HTML, we are just like PHP. You find that you can bring in PHP to your HTML work and it will run very fine. Now, this is a simple HTML structure, and we'll try to understand what is happening here. First of all, we have on our first line or first number, which is doctype HTML. Whenever you see this doctype HTML, we are talking of the version of HTML we are working with. So currently, and the latest version is HTML5. So, and this the symbol or whatever what we use to denote HTML5. Whenever you put doctype HTML, you are telling the browser that I'm working on the latest version, which is HTML5. So please endeavor to make sure that you have this in the first line of your HTML work. Browser things like Bootstrap makes use of this doctype HTML5. So anything that have to do with HTML5, there are a lot of frameworks that make use of it. Second line, which is line 2, we have HTML tag. Like I said before, whenever we have this less than and greater than, it's a tag. Anything we have inside of it is name of the tag. Like inside of this, we have HTML tag. This place, we have head tag, we have title tag, we have closing. So which one is closing? Whenever we have the same name, but we're having forward slash in front of it, that means we want to close. We are closing that tag. So every tag we open must be closed. Take note. Exception, we have few exceptions like BR tag, but for now we should know that almost 95% of tags we'll be working with in HTML, we must close them. So now on line 2, we have HTML and we are closing our HTML. What is happening here is simply that HTML is wrapping everything because what we are working with is HTML. If we're working with PHP, we have the tags for opening and closing of PHP, while every other code must be inside, every other PHP code. Likewise, JavaScript, we have the opening and closing tag for JavaScript. The same thing with HTML, find that we have the opening and closing. Every other code we are going to have in this work must be inside the opening and closing tag, except this number one, which is doctype, which is giving or which symbolizes the version of HTML we're working with. So inside the HTML tag, there is two segments we should take note. Meaning that immediately after your open and closing of HTML, we should have the head tag, open and close. As you can see here, head tag, open and close. After which we have the body tag, open and close. Like a physical or a typical human being, we have our head started from here, closed here, before we started having the body down to the feet. So that's another important thing we should take note of. Then anything within the head section runs behind the scene, meaning that it processes behind the scene. We don't see it in our web page, and it's not visible in our web or in what users can see. Good example is the title tag. So one of the things that is common in our head tag is this title tag. So whenever you create a tag at this beginning stage, just endeavor to open a title tag write the name of the website you are building, and close the title tag. I will still show you where this thing will appear. Then close your HTML tag, your head tag. That's all we can do for now in the head section. We have the body section. Body section is the what shows on the screen, and we have other tags like H1 tag, P tags. We'll discuss more about them, and we find that we open, we close. We have some language, some notepads. When we say notepad, some text editors that we'll work with. There are many of them depending on your choice. We have the one of Atom, we have Notepad++, we have some other things, we have VS Code. So these are some popular text editors for our programming, web designing, and web development. So you can download them. The best and recommended version, or the recommended one for me, is VS Code. So I expect you to make sure that you have this VS Code. I believe I will be working with VS Code in this slide, or in this course we are handling now. So next thing we'll be looking at is our browser. When we're looking at browser, find out we have different browsers. One, and the recommended one I'm looking at, is Chrome. Please download this Google Chrome. It's the most important and recommended. And the worst of, for me, the one I don't encourage people, or I don't advise people to go with, this Internet Explorer. Most of the time it scatters our work, especially working with HTML. So please, even if you want to use it, make use of the recent version of it, which is the Edge, Microsoft Edge. So this is the best. Firefox, I do make use of Firefox, which is also very good. It's your choice, you can work with it. So good, and a summary of whatever we have been talking about. When we are looking at HTML, find that it's just a structure, there is no design in it. We're just having a typical framework, a skeletal view of our web page. Once we bring in CSS, we add CSS to HTML, you start seeing style, start making sense for the user and everybody that is visiting our website. Then JavaScript, as you can see, end up adding effect to our web page. So we look into, let's practicalize all we have been saying. So I'm in my desktop now. All I need to do is I right click, create a new folder for this new project we are doing. You can call it maybe tech. So whether capital or small letter is allowed. Inside of it is where we are going to have the project. So I can close depending on your choice. Locate any text editor of your choice. I have VS Code here. I think I have other editors like Notepad++ and many others. So I can double click on my VS Code. Now it's open. Once it opens up, I'm still waiting for it to load. Okay, good and fine. This is showing me that I have a folder called tech. So it may not show you your own. Assuming it doesn't show you, just click on new file because you want to start a fresh work. I press Ctrl X, or you can come here, click on save as. So we can save this project. Make sure the file path is located well. When I say file path, the file that is showing me that I'm in the desktop. From the desktop, I can look around for the folder I created, which is tech. I can see it. I double click to open it. So it's showing me that I'm in this part. I can now save. I want to save this work with index in a small letter, not capital letter, lowercase. Index.html. Make sure that you have this HTML. So tell him the language you are working on. Index is simply telling him that please, if you are going to this folder, once I want to open it in my Google, in my Chrome browser and any other browser, it will look for index file first. If it sees any file index, it will open, it will start off from there. So that I'm telling you that this is the first project, this is first work where I'm starting from. So now I can save. One benefit of VS Code, I can press down my shift button, press the key, number one key. It will show me this sign. I can tab, I click on tab. It will load a simple HTML structure for me. Assuming I don't want it, I can clean it and will type it offhand. So now I can type doc type, telling him that I want to work with HTML5. So that's my doc type. What am I forgetting? So please, if I click like this, I have my doc type. Let me redo it again. So you can press your what shift key and number one key button, number one, and it will bring out. If you wish to type it, you can clean it up, and now we type our what doc type. So I have doc type. It must not be in capital, it's your choice. So depending on what you want, but to have our HTML as we are seeing, that's the number one. Number two, the second line we have is what? We need to open our HTML. Once I open, like I told you, we close. Spacing does not mean anything. We can give as much as we want. Then inside of our HTML tag, like I said, what are we going to have? We'll have our head. And when we have head, we need to make sure that we close the head. So we say that head will start, head will end, we close. After head, we come down, we have what? The body section. So when we start the body, we also close the body. So this is very important. Then within the head, there is one tag we met that is very important, which is what? The title tag. So we can as well insert our title tag and close. This is where the name of our website will come in. I can call it my first HTML class, depending, it's your own choice. So very good. We are done with whatever we want to do with the head section. We can come within the body section and do something like what? Hello. Let me do a simple hello world. We want to know how the word is doing. So this is a simple structure of our HTML code. I can save, Control X, we save the word. I minimize. If I go back to tech within the desktop, I can see the work I'm currently on, and it's saved inside the tech folder because I choose the file path. I can double click. Once I double click, I'm now seeing the hello world, and I can see the title, my first HTML class. Where is this title coming from? If we go back to our code, we found that we created a title for this work. So anything we added inside here, we add, will display in the title bar. So that's what we're getting. While the body section, anything we have within the body shows in the body of our work. That's what we're seeing it here. So now let's see how the H1 tag works and the P tag. So assume we have this hello world and I want to create a tag which is H1 and I'm wrapping it. Make sure that you don't use uppercase. H1. I can as well do what? Close the H1. H1. So this is the closing. Am I making mistake? So have the opening and closing of this H1. Let me zoom in so you can see this better. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I can't even see where to zoom. Appearance, want to zoom in. You should zoom in so I can as well close this one too. So I believe that we are seeing what we are doing very well. I want to zoom in again. So it's better now. We found that we have our doc type HTML, we have our HTML tag, have head, you can close the head. Inside of the head, we're having a title which is showing in the menu bar. Whatever we write inside will show. Then we have the body. Now inside the body, I have H1 tag. I want to create other tags. H1 tag simply means heading tag. We have H1 to H6. This is a simple tag. It zooms out and it bows out whatever we are doing. I want to practicalize and see how it works. So I can move down and change them from H1 to H6. So this one should be H2, this one should be H3, this one should be H4, this one should be H5, while this one is what? H6. At the same time, I would like to add something like 1, so we know the one that is showing. End of the day, what we see on the screen is the text in white color. So those tags, we are not seeing them on the screen. So you should take notes. All these text within the white that has white color is what we're going to see on the screen. So I've saved my work. I go back. Make sure you save your work. I refresh. Can you see how they work? H1 is bold. See, as it's going, it's reducing in font, in size. So that's one thing you should understand. about h1 tag. So we found that working with HTML is very simple. We have other things, assuming we'll write something like this. How are you? And I click on the next line and say, I am fine. I click on and next line and say, come now. So we'll have something of this nature. If I save this work, you find that even my text editor, that's one thing how I set my VS Code. It will not allow me to even keep them in one line, knowing fully well that if I go back to the browser, it will definitely appear in one line. That's what it's just telling me. So depending on text editor, some text editor will still leave it this way when you save. If you save like this, if you go back to your browser, I find that it will definitely have all those things in one line. So this means that you can't break your work or a test by merely doing it the way you do it with Microsoft Word, hitting the enter key. No, enter key cannot break it. But we want to show that we want to write something in the next line. We can now make use of that our p tag. So have our paragraph. I can bring this thing inside the p tag. It will say, okay, you're talking of paragraph. I can as well create another paragraph. And make sure, I think I'm writing this p tag in capital, in uppercase. Please always use the lowercase. So I open and I must close. I'm closing this, as you can see. So if we save this work now, p tag means what? I want this to stay in one paragraph. I want this to make sure that everything goes to the next line. It's a fresh paragraph. That's what it's saying. This line 15 is telling that we have another fresh paragraph. Every other thing should go to the next line. Even if we have this in one line, you find that it will definitely do what? Push it to the next line, because this is a fresh paragraph. So if I save this work, even my text editor is pushing it down on its own. So you find out what we have on one line before is now on multiple lines. So that's the take home for this simple series. So if we go back and try to maybe add another thing, like what do you think you're going to add now? We have done justice to it. So another thing I would like to bring in is style. I can do a very simple style to this page. Now, if I want to style anything, I need to go within the head section, because that's where the brain of the page is. I create a tag called style. So that's the tag I wish to create. I can close it. Like I said, anything you open, we need to do what? Close. So I can close my style tag. Now it's closed. I can come within this style tag and call on anything within this body section. So I can call on anything. I can simply do what? BODY, body. Though this is not a CSS class, I just want to add this style to it in our next class on CSS. So body background, I can give it a background. Okay, very background, maybe add a color to it. And I can choose any color of my choice. So I find that I have a color now, and I'm calling this body. I can save. When I save, go back to our HTML work, refresh our page, you find that wow, we have another color in our page. So we're ending this tutorial here. In the next section, we'll be looking at what is CSS. Look, how can we implement CSS to our HTML work, make it look nice. So that's what we're going to cover in the next section. Thank you so much, and God bless.